to the Busy Beaver Club, your go-to podcast for a better life. We cover your health through physical fitness, mindset fitness, and financial fitness, helping you stay sharp, succeed. So let's get productive, build, grow, and thrive. Hey, today our star is Dr. Beth Halbert. You're in for a treat. She's sat across from hundreds of teens and even more overwhelmed parents. Because, as you know, teens are it's not the terrible twos, it's the terrific twos. But the teens sometimes can be challenging, and then she can help you with that. But she can do a lot more than that. But we're not getting into that. But she isn't just a therapist. She's really what she is a truth teller and a soul excavator and a rebel with a cause. Okay. So with 6 books and more on the way, it's stories that'll break you open. The conversation is going to be about parenting tips on this one. It's going to be how we come to hone in to ourselves. So let's dive in. Dr. Beth, welcome. I am so excited that you're here. We had such a great, I cheated. We had such a great conversation yesterday. You helped me so much that we just did this in an impromptu, and I am super stoked for it. So I got to hear about you, but nobody else on my podcast. Well, hopefully some do. But tell me a moment here. Let's just start here. Tell me a moment in childhood that shaped you for who you are today.
I'm gonna jump right in, Stephen.
Right on. I would expect nothing less.
I'm jumping right in. Okay. So I had a perfect childhood. My dad was a minister of education. We traveled. He was in the Baptist Sunday School Board. My mom was a youth director and a daycare director and a soloist. And we went to Ridgecrest, North Carolina, Glorieta, New Mexico every weekend. We were on it. And I was like the captain of the basketball team in junior high, made straight A's, made all-state choir. I mean, I was dialed and styled, Stephen. And then, dun, 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 I fell in love with a girl. And I told my mom and dad about it, and they freaked, absolutely freaked. And at midnight, they took me to a family friend psychologist, and then for the next 15 years my parents and I tried to fix me, and it was a transformative, life altering, and perfect and divine. You get that one?
Perfect and divine.
P and
Okay.
D. It was perfect and divine. And this is why I say that, because I would not be who I am today, drbeth.com, if I had not gone through that hell. Just wouldn't be that. I was in an analysis for 11 years, 4 days a week on a couch, trying to fix myself. I love guys. I love people. I am a lover of humanity. And I just got screwed up and fell madly in love with the wrong person. And then after 15 years, that happened again, and that happened again, and that happened again. And one of my friends recently said, "Beth, you're gay." And I'm like, well, am I? I don't know. Who knows? I just love people, and I keep falling in love with women. So that's who you're talking to, Stephen. You are talking to somebody who loves, loves, loves humanity, tries to get it right, tries to be a good girl, and I am all about making a huge difference on this planet.
So we had a small conversation about that yesterday, but here's my take on it.
Bring it.
First of all, when you're and the science proves this, you'll know I'm preaching to the choir, but around middle school, we go through a crisis because our hormones are way up there, and we don't know who we are. And so this is where we define ourselves. And it used to be, about 5% of the population is truly gay. I mean, that stat has been around since forever and a day. But then the other stuff is cultural, and there's nothing wrong with cultural so much. Charlie Kirk said it. He said, "What is a woman's biological needs, right? It's to have babies. You can't have babies when you're lesbian. I mean, you can insert all that kind of stuff, but it's just not the same."
Well, I've got a story about babies. Can I insert that?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Okay, so when I was 40 years old, I was with a woman and she did not want to have kids. And my biological clock was just kaboom, 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 kaboom. And I was at another personal growth experience, the Star Foundation, with Barbara Van Dyson. And I was getting a massage while I was at the event, and this woman, the masseuse, said, "Are you pregnant?" And I said, "No." She said, "You have millions of soul babies all wanting to come in and have you as their mom. They're just like all around. That's the only time that's ever happened in my life. And so I was talking to Barbara about this, and she said she had kids. And she said, this is one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had in my life because part of me had a mission and part of me had a mission with my kids. And I've always felt conflicted about that. She said, let's do an experience. And she had me get on a train and she said, see yourself with your baby. And I instantly visualized a little 2-year-old little girl holding my hand. She loved me. I loved her. We jumped on the train. We went forward in time. She said, now open the door and see what you see. And it was just the two of us. And it was so lonely. And I loved this baby girl. I loved her like she was my own inner child.
Yeah.
I loved her to pieces. And then she said, okay, now come back again. And this time go forward without a child. And I went forward and I got off the train. And as I did, the door opened to thousands and thousands of parents that I was like the mama of the mamas, the parent of the parents. And then she said, okay, do it again. And this time put the two trains together. And so I went forward again. And this time the baby got off with all the people and the people hated my child. And my child hated the people because I was feeling ripped because I wanted to give my child 100% of me and I wanted to give my life mission 100% of me. And everybody that was out in the world felt like this little child got more than they got. And the child felt like I was always being pulled from her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so she asked me, she said, what would be the reason for you to have a child? I said, well, I'm afraid, fear. I'm afraid I'll get to the end of my life and feel like I have done the wrong thing. So that was my first fear. My second fear was I needed to have a child because how am I going to be a child and family psychologist without a child? Again, fear. And she let me know that Anna Freud, Melanie Klein, and somebody else, some other famous female child psychologist, none of which had kids. So I really got that my choice would be from a choice of fear. And what I realized was there are so many phenomenal parents, but there's only one Dr. Beth. And I decided in that moment, and that was 30 years ago when I had that experience. And I'm still at peace. I'm 63 now, and I'm still at complete and total peace with that. Now, I've helped raise a bunch of kids. I have a lot of kids that feel like I have parents say we co-parented through the years for the last 20 years. And I had 9 people living in my house for 3.5 years. One was 0 to 3, one was 3 to 6, one was 15 to 18, and one was their parents, and then my mom, and then my partner. And it was, talk about an interfamily zoo. Oh my gosh. We had a zoo. I got a chance to see if my work actually worked, and someday I'll write a book on that. But probably
not that the 6 books and the other ones in the wind aren't enough.
Exactly. That's another really funny thing that happened when I was young. I was a business consultant at Saturn, the car company, and Chrysler. I did Chrysler 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I was just on call making coots amount of money, sitting in my dream home at 25 or 26. And that same home now is $1.5 million. This was, 35 years ago. But it was my dream home. I'm still trying to get back to that moment in time. But I was sitting there and I was like, I have something bigger to do in the world than just make money. Like, I've got the money, done, check, got it, got the big house, got it all. And so at that moment in time, I called a psychic. One time I've ever done it, psychic hotline in my whole life. And she said, you're going to be a writer. You're going to be a teacher of teachers. You're going to be a this, she had this whole plan for me and saw me in California, which I just got back from there, was there for 30 years. And I'm back in Nashville taking care of my parents for the last 2 years again. But that experience when I got out of college, like my high school, my college buddies, they're like, how'd you write a book? We had to help you get your papers done. And I didn't use AI. I'll just tell you that. Not one bit of AI in any of my books.
So this reminds me of something that people say that I always disagree with, and they say that money can't buy you happiness, but it sure solves a lot of problems that get in your way, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you check, and that's why it's a physical fitness, mental fitness, and financial fitness. And when you have your mental fitness and your financial fitness together, your financial your
I
fitness
say
is
let's have it
simple.
all. I
Yeah,
say let's have it all.
yeah. Well,
And
that's what I'm saying. You have it all, but it's easier once you have the physical and the mental fitness down. The financial fitness is a breeze because you're focused, you're ready, you're
yes,
not
yes,
sick all the
and
time.
yes, and in 2018, I went through a time where I was $160,000 in debt,
It's a
and
lot.
I was working to get everything out in the world. I had money in my house, but I couldn't get to it because, as an entrepreneur, you write off your expenses, and so you either pay huge amount of taxes or you write
Yeah.
off your expenses that are really your expenses. And so there was one day I decided, can I be in love single? I mean, can I be in pure bliss, single, overweight, and broke? Because anybody can be happy, supposedly, when you have it all. One of the things that I wanted to experience was, can I have it all internally when I don't have it all externally? So one
Right.
day I didn't have it. Then I had a flood. My house completely flooded, and I had this huge amount of money that came in and was able had people there to help me fix it, was able to get my debt down, my business went up, and almost from day 1 to day 2 in 2 months, that 160 was cleared and I was 40,000 up. And nothing felt different, Stephen. Nothing felt different because I knew how fast that 40,000 could go, just as fast
Yep.
as the 40,000 came. So when I am now not controlled by how much money I have in the bank, and also not controlled on how much money I'm willing to receive. Like I can receive and I'm okay if I don't have it. Both and. That's what I'm the game I'm playing.
So, but the game that you're playing that way, most people can't play because you can only play it A if you're in the right mindset, and B it helps that you've made it because you know you can make it again. Once you've been successful, success is not hard. It's not sitting on the couch for 3 hours binge watching Housewives of whatever, right? It's actually getting out there and saying, okay, this is my side hustle. This is what I'm going to do. This is, and what you did, like going back to the children thing, is you figured out way early in life, as Steve Jobs famously said, how you're going to dent the universe, and that is the highest level of ascension for us humans, in my opinion. It's making money is good. Don't get me wrong, and having a great mindset is fine. And what are you going to do to dent the universe? And so that thousand kids versus one kid, and there's nothing the choice would have
Nothing
it,
wrong.
nothing wrong
Either
with
would have
either
been good.
choice. Yeah,
Yes.
either choice would have been good. But you
Yes.
decided to go down this road for whatever reason, doesn't matter. But you decided to go down this road. But what's more importantly, you you got focused on it. But what most people don't do is then you took action, right? You got focus and action. And so that is why you're, in my opinion, you're more at peace with yourself because the only way that you can, the worst thing you can do that brings the depression the fastest, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, at least in the corporate world or the business world or whatever, entrepreneurs, is to do less than you know you're capable of. If I, end at the end of the day, if I if I just goofed off today and I didn't do, and I know you have to be a workaholic, and that's my story. Don't be a workaholic, but you know, and but if you do less than you know that you can do, that you're worthy of, that hits your psyche. I mean,
All
thoughts?
right. So let me play. Let me play with that.
Okay.
So, as far as did I used to think that? Yes. Was I one of the best? I call it the inner 3-year-old, inner 7-year-old, and inner teen. The 3-year-old is what most people call the inner child. The super 7-year-old is what I call the little workaholic, good girl, good boy, do it right. And I had that one down. Like I had 3 jobs in high school and college. 3 jobs. Start at 7 in the morning, then I'd go to the next one, change, then I'd go to the next one, change, then I'd get it. I mean, I have the super 7-year-old workaholic thing down, Stephen. And I got to the end of my doctoral degree and my clinical license, and I had my private practice going, and I was working full time for Cadillac Standards for Excellence for 11 years. And I'm sitting in my kitchen and I'm like, okay, so where's the next hoop? I've arrived. Where's the next hoop? And it was a empty and meaningless moment in my life. So I changed to a new way of being where I took the car keys out of my super 7-year-old and put it in my inner teen, put it in the hands of my inner teen, because my inner teen is my passion, is my authentic voice, is the part of me that's not afraid to say the wrong thing or get killed. It's the part of me that plays full out in this world. And I'd never done that for years and years and years. I was on the hamster wheel, keep having my cheese moved.
Yeah,
That
move your
book.
cheese. I got it right back. I could go back there and get the book. I People do
Yes.
that. As a matter of fact, you keep talking.
Yes. So I realized I kept moving my own cheese and there was no way to win with myself. Who moved my cheese? It was me. It was my super 7-year-old that kept moving my cheese, kept moving the goalpost so that I never got to feel like I've arrived and I can be at peace and I can. So, anyway, my first 30 years of life, my game was fake it till you make it, baby. My second 30 years of life was awesome, authenticity or bust. And the first 30, I had a head on crash and had an epiphany and decided to stay here. My second 30, at 60, I had breast cancer and had an option to get out. And I decided, I've done enough. I've written a book. I'm successful. I've touched thousands of lives. If it's not fun, I'm not playing. If it's not fun, peace, I'm out. So this next 30 is how wild and crazy and fun and playful and having it all. That's where I am right now. That's the game I'm in.
Okay, so got two things that I want to talk about, but the first one is more important than what you just said here. That I don't. I'll get into that psychobabble here in a second.
Okay.
Most people out there never get to the 7-year-old. Most people, and even fewer people get to the 13-year-old. So how do we get the mindset to go and explain what the 3-year-old is and the 1 to 3-year-old? I kind of got the 7 and the 13-year-old, workaholic, and then passion. The 3-year-old, what is it? And
Vulnerability,
okay,
vulnerability,
well, shoot, most
feelings.
people don't even want to be vulnerable. I mean,
Okay.
yesterday I was extremely vulnerable with you, and I grew so much. But was it easy? I don't know. I want to
The
change
goal
so
the
much.
goal is not the goal is not to be 3, 7 or teen. We already are. Like if you look at somebody, you're like, oh man, they're in their 3-year-old. Look at them, crybaby, little whiny brat. Or somebody, ooh, look at them. They are so in their super 7-year-old think they're better than everybody else and self-righteous and they're right and everybody else is wrong and rah, 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 they're like living in a box. And then look at that teen. They don't even have any responsibility. They are tagging people. So there's the positive 3-year-old when we are consciously loving our vulnerable 3-year-old, like you were doing yesterday.
Right?
And there's the positive, not overwhelmed super 7-year-old where we are dialed and styled and in the zone. And there's the positive teen where we are authentically our passionate, divine, loving self. And the way to find those three parts of ourselves is to become the loving, wise self witness of these aspects of ourselves. Because we all have all of it. I'll give you an example, especially men. How many women have told you men, you're just a teenager. I have to do this and this and this and this and this. And you're just fun, dad. You just play, play, play.
Pretty right.
And how many men have told their wives or women, gosh, you're just always nagging, nag, nag, nag.
My
Like, get
wife
a
actually
life,
doesn't
have
do
some
a lot of
fun.
that. So, but
What's that?
I'm very fortunate. She doesn't do a lot of that. She's the yin to my yang. But
Well, that's why
she's
you've
different
that's why you've been together for so long
for
because
years.
you guys have mastered this. So, but what a lot of dysfunctional relationships, one plays teen, one plays 7.
Okay,
And
I see.
in the teen, you cheat.
Ooh,
In the
yeah.
teen, you have risky behavior. In the teen, you are all self-absorbed. In the super 7-year-old, you're the martyr of the world. I've given my life to all of you, and now you all owe me. And
So
so,
uh,
so
go
how to
ahead. Go ahead.
balance these three?
So balance. I don't want to get into the balancing because and I'm just going to be, you kind of figured out I'm the guy that says what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, and I could
Bring
be
it.
completely wrong. I don't really care about these three stages. I
Yeah,
care on how we can start that because most people don't even start the positive 3-year-old stage. So
consciously,
consciously,
consciously.
right? Okay,
They
but
start it, they just do it unconsciously.
how do they change? I mean, like, okay, let's say I've got somebody that I've got a client right now. Well, we could talk about me. It doesn't matter. How do I change whatever stage I'm at? How do I change? That's just actually
Okay.
the question.
So when you're in your 3-year-old, when you're like hiding under the covers, vulnerable, feel like, life is not worth living, depression, sadness, grief, shame, huge, huge, big mixed feelings. Little 6-year-old said it best one time when his mom left him. He said, Dr. Beth, did you know you could have loving feelings and hating feelings at the exact same time? I
Wow,
taught him that, by the
that's
way.
brilliant.
I
Oh,
said,
okay, there you go.
I was like, yeah, but it makes you feel crazy, doesn't it? And he said, yes, it makes you feel crazy. Like, how can I hate my mom for leaving and still love her and miss her? This is mind blowing. So, when I can embrace all my feelings and love myself in all my feelings, my guilt, my greed, my righteousness, my like every politically incorrect thought or feeling that you have, when you can be loved in that space, that's how you get filled up on the inner side. So how do we take care of that 3-year-old? You ask the super 7-year-old, what are you loving about yourself? Give me some brags. So I have this construct that I use. It's called the brag party, and I'll say, Stephen, give me a brag. So go for it. Give me a brag.
Hey, I'm a seventh degree black belt, father of 5. Been married for 30 years. I am a person that loves to help people. I'm a server. I just want to keep giving and help the world become a better place.
Okay. So beautiful. Most people can't give me one.
Yeah, that makes sense because they're not practicing gratitude. I'm grateful that I'm all of those things. And I had a huge amount of help to be all of those things.
My challenge for you on a couple of those brags is how to turn it up even more. The brag is that I want to help hundreds of people. The brag would be
oh yeah, okay. So I want to serve hundreds of thousands of people. I
the
want to,
brag is,
oh, I have to do it about myself. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah, not
Well,
I want to.
I'm grateful that I am intelligent enough and I'm hardworking enough to be able to help other people. No, yes.
Close, you got closer. You got closer.
Um,
I have touched lives.
oh, I have, and I
I
have, yeah,
am impacting this. I
yes.
saved this person. I impacted that person. I've raised 5 kids that are
I want to
astronomically.
bring it down. I want to bring it down to the simple now. Everybody's done this. Somebody, someday in their life, has made somebody smile, and
There
that
you
could be a
go.
starting point. I
Yeah,
did help that. And here's the thing: what people don't realize is that you may have helped somebody smile that was thinking about ending it all, and because you
absolutely.
made them smile, they're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe tomorrow, not today. And then maybe that
Yeah.
person has a kid, and 10 years from now, because of that attitude they have, their kid gets onto a different level of positivity and makes somebody else smile. And then that happens 5 or 6 generations. And then that person on that next generation or friend, doesn't even have to be in your family, becomes president of the United States or a world leader. And so I call it the butterfly effect, right? So we have no idea the butterfly effect of what's going on in our life. So that is it. So that's good. So yeah. So
So
achieving.
conceptually,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes to everything you said.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And that's one of my things is how to meet somebody where they are and bring it together. Yes, and. So everything you said, 100% yes. When I'm playing the brag game, are we still good?
You just said something.
When I'm playing the brag game, the game is what is going to fill me up so that I naturally smile. I'm not smiling from my super 7-year-old. I'm smiling from pure joy because I am all that in a bag of chips. And I'm owning all my greatness. And I'm loving the pep in my step
Right.
versus I'm being told to smile or I'm being told to, go make a difference in the world. Make a difference through the cup that runneth over instead of an empty cup where you're trying to go make a difference in the world to fill your cup up because people can feel it. I went to a coach one time and I said, this is probably 40 years ago. And I'm like, I'm driven. I was like wet behind the ears and I was ready to take on the world. And she said, Beth, go fill yourself up. You're going to be putting chocolate on a turd. Fill up. Let it come from authenticity. Bring it to a space where you can't help but love people because you feel so much love within. So that's how I take care of the 3-year-old. You said, how do I get somebody from the 3-year-old
Hang on a
to the
second. That
7-year-old?
reminds me, when I was a teenager, high school, I used to go to the mall and watch people and think positive thoughts about the people, no matter if they were overweight, if they dressed shabby or whatever. Even back then, I was that kind of guy.
I love
I
that.
don't
I
know.
love that about
Well,
you.
my parents actually raised me to treat people the way they treated you. So if somebody's nice to you, it doesn't matter skin, race, cut, color, what doesn't matter. It's how people treat you is the defining character of you should be friends with them. And actually, I think you would probably disagree with that and say that's the easiest way to become friends with somebody is if they're nice to you. But if they're not nice to you, that's a different story. I want to switch just
Well,
before
wait, well, wait, well, wait
that's a
before you switch. So again, that's the super 7-year-old external world.
right,
Okay.
right.
How do I be nice to others? We all learned it in kindergarten. The concept that I am teaching is how do we do that within? So if you trigger me, Stephen,
Hmm.
let's say I can't stand your whiny voice, or I can't stand your gorgeous looks, or I can't stand your confidence, or I like something, make anything up whatsoever. What is it that I'm not loving in me that I'm seeing in you? So I see every face in this world as God's face. So where I see the God in me sees the God in you. So I'm looking for the love in you. And when I see something that I don't like, I see that that is something in me that I haven't healed. Something in me, I'm still making myself bad and wrong. Let's say you've gotten 25 books done or 6 books done or whatever, and I don't have any books. I'm like, I hate him. He is so productive. He's so perfectionistic. He's so workaholic. And this can happen with kids when you have a rock star dad that they never can measure up
Yeah.
because the cheese and the goalpost and the measurement keeps getting moved out. The line keeps getting moving. I never get to win.
Whole life producers, grab your 200 unbranded posts that you can instantly make your own. You'll get the post pack 7 days inside our school group for free. The posting is a waste of time video, unless, of course, and training on our stages of the 5 marketing framework to guide your every post. Need branding? We'll send you our Fiverr guide. Use a pro and feel free to do it on your own if you like. Click the link below or use the QR code, but get it. Yeah. Yeah, I was never good at math because my dad was an accountant. He was actually in the CIA. He was a certified internal auditor. My favorite joke about my dad. But I made
Oh,
2 solid D's in algebra because I didn't want to study because I didn't want to compete with him.
yeah.
I know this now. I didn't know it then, right? But
Same for me with music. I was an all-star I made all-star music. I've sung, but I've never felt like I've measured up to my mom and my aunt. Never. So that's where I get most shut down, and it's one of the things I love the most.
isn't that funny? You say your vocabulary is different, and it's actually, in my opinion, correct vocabulary. And I've done it a couple of times, which is not correct vocabulary, but you have consistently made the correct category. And I'll say it like this: Dr. Beth, I love you. But for a guy, anytime you hear but, just forget everything else because here it comes. I want to be your friend, whatever. Okay. But you correctly say, you
I
know,
love you,
Dr. Beth, I
and
love you. And yeah,
this is what I love about you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can, but so that's a key word that people should get the butt out of there because, you're talking face to face. You can't see their butt anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Right.
Yeah, why bother?
So why talk
Ex-
about it? Right.
Exactly.
So
When
anyway,
one on that note, let me just add one thing on that. I love
absolutely.
you, and one of the things when somebody wants to do something critical to their partner
Hmm.
Instead of you never hold my hand anymore, you never do the dishes anymore, you always, all those things. Instead, I love you so much. And I'm remembering when we used to hold hands. God, that made me so hot. Oh my God, I loved it when you held my hand. It just sends shivers through my spine when you hold my hand. Just wanted to let you know that. You'd be grabbing my hand, right?
Oh, yeah, or I'd be getting to serve papers. So
Exactly.
that is that's an exclamation point on the "and" part there, and that was a better even way of going down that road. So we did the 3 and the 7. Do we need to do the 13, or is that just?
Oh, you can't leave out the teen. You
Well, let's
cannot
get to the
leave
team
out the
before we go
teen.
on to some other stuff that I've written down.
Otherwise, the teen is going to sabotage us and going to just really feel left out. So the way to get to the teen is to give the teenager, give the part of you that there is one safe space, even if it's only in your own head, even if it's only in your own journal. There is one safe space that you can say anything you want to say and still be loved. Then, if you can get it out and say anything that you want to say, then you can pretty it up and clean it up and let the super 7-year-old say it politically correctly and all that. And it'll be coming from your authentic truth, not from trying to put lipstick on a pig. So for example, when I first started journaling with I thought was my little 3-year-old, I said, "Hi, little B, how are you doing?" And she said, "F you." And I was like, "Ooh, you're having some big feelings. F you, like you care." I don't even say that word, especially at that time in my life. That word didn't even come out of my mouth. Like,
Right.
who is this? Who's talking to me? And this is when I found my inner teenager. And it was the part of me that had been put in a closet when I was young, hide. My dad even said, pretend like it's not real. Just fake it till you make it. The world, it's not safe to be yourself in the world. So don't be you, don't be authentic. And she was mad. And I was working with another coach when I was with a partner, and I said, "I can't find my rage." Like, I teach mirror, mirror. So I said, "I can't find my rage." And this coach said to me, "Oh, Beth, you are so mad." I'm like, "Where is it? I don't see it." So sometimes we cannot see the back of our head. We cannot see the unconscious blind spots. We can't see all the pain that we're in, but we can see it in others. So one more quick thing with this partner that was just mean and would say mean, horrific things. I'm like, "I don't do that. I'm loving. I'm like Kirk. I'm a loving guy. I say nice things, blah, blah, blah." And so I said to her, I said, "Do you think I'm a mean, blah, 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 whatever the B word?" And she said, "Yes." And I'm like, "I can't find it. Help me find it." "Oh, you think you're better than me? You think you have it all under control? You have all these negative thoughts about me?" I'm like, "Got it. Found it." Doot, 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 doot. Off to my journal to love up all aspects of me and to not shame and blame myself for being human. So that's how you find the inner teen. And when she is on board with you, woo, your energy comes back, prolific comes back, everything, your light, your shine, it comes back. And
I'm
you're
not.
not walking around with black
I'm,
ink.
I'm confused. Okay, so somebody calls you out. It doesn't make sense to me, and if it doesn't make sense to me, I know there's going to be at least two other viewers that
Okay,
is like,
so there's a concept. I teach the 10 keys to compassion, and all of these keys help you fall in love with yourself, okay?
right?
And one of the keys, C is for compassion, falling in love with what is. O is for own your story, and you want to stick with that story and whatever story you have about anybody, especially your kids, Stephen, or your spouse, or your employees, or your clients. You get to be right because you will put those glasses on and you will find evidence of that story. So we know that one, right?
Okay, yes.
Okay. Mirror, mirror is key 3. If you spot it, you got it. So, what a lot of people talk about with mirror, mirror is they talk about just the negative aspects. I love the mirror of you, Stephen. I love, love, love your energy, your truthfulness, your rebel, your willingness to dish with me, your openness, and mirror, 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 mirror. Okay. So I love, love, love the mirror of you. And if there's anything I don't like about you, it's not about you, it's about some aspect of me I have not fallen in love with. Example, my
You,
real,
this is something I said to all my kids. and they can quote it. When there's a problem, 99% of the time you need to look in the mirror, not out the window, to solve the problem. And that 1%, you're just fooling yourself. Look back in the mirror again. And so you're
Okay,
taking
so
this to the next
is
level.
that mirror look to get in trouble in the mirror, or is that
Oh,
mirror look to fall in love with who you are and
it
what
was.
you did in the mirror?
I'm a problem solver, and so for you to figure out how to solve that problem, whatever it is, if you were upset at me, or if you were, yeah, well, I guess I didn't take it on that level, but yeah. When there's a problem, look in the mirror, not out the window. So
Okay,
you've
and
taken it to
if
the.
that feels loving to hear it that way and say it that way, then spot on. If it feels like I've gotten on your porch and I'm telling you go look at something, or why did you do that, or in any way you feel shamed or blamed or criticized or judged by me, your inner teen is going to rebel against that. Versus if I say, can you find where in you that looks like your brother that you're not loving up in yourself? You and your brother are having a fight. Can you find where you're at war with yourself? And we need to love up and listen to both aspects of yourself.
That's good. All right. So you said something earlier. I'm going to come back to it. And this is where we'll have a disagreement, at least partially, and then you'll probably spin it so that I'll say yes. Yeah, now we're both talking the same language, which is okay, because that just makes me stronger when somebody says that. But you said that you only do things that are fun. And I say that's not a good thing.
Possible.
Your
Not
vision
possible.
your vision should be fun. That the ultimate goal, if you ever reach that destination, which you should never do, should be fun. The trip should be fun, but sometimes you got to change a tire. Sometimes you got to get gas. Sometimes you ran out of gas and you got to walk 2 miles or whatever. So you got to write. Writing is not. I mean, it's. I don't write. I'm like Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar never wrote a book. People don't realize that he never wrote a book. He had a recorder.
Yep, I
And he
did the
did the
same.
recording, and then he had somebody else type it out, but he never wrote a book.
Yeah.
And that's the same for me. That's how I do it, because my ADHD, I just go crazy, and then I put it in rev.com, little free plug for them, and then it gets it out, and then I do my magic after that. But so yeah, but okay, so thoughts.
Okay, I love that. I love that layup. Thank you. Caught it. All right. So first of all, I 100% agree with you. Totally, 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 totally agree with you. And if it's not fun and my inner teen takes over, it doesn't get done. So I have a book about how do I get my inner 3-year-old, my inner 7-year-old, and my inner teen on board with each other so that I turn everything into fun. Now, there have been a gazillion different times in my life where I'm not having freaking fun. And just a couple of months ago, I had shoulder surgery. I had 3 of my 4 tendons tear, had major reconstruction surgery, and I'm taking care of my parents, and I'm getting these books out, and my dad is like, "You're all about fun, and you are not looking fun." And I guilty as charged. Guilty, 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 guilty. And what I'm doing 24/7 is how do I get back to the fun? Because it's not sustainable. I did 30, 40 years of super 7-year-old perfectionism, workaholism, being a good girl. I did it until I burnt out to a crisp. So my game is like right now I've had caregivers and they've turned over, and oh my gosh, it's been a ride. I bet we've had 50 different caregivers in the last 6 months. And so how do I turn that into fun? How do I turn that into fun? One of the things that I did was, and I do call it spin doctor. And one of the things that I looked at is what is the P&D, perfect and divine, about this? What is the gift? How come this is happening for me instead of to me? Because if it's happening to me, I feel like a victim. If it's happening for me, I can get to gratitude, I can expand it, all those things. So I realized that part of the gift in having all these caregivers is I'm touching lives. I can't tell you how many of these caregivers have said, we're the love house and the healing house, because my mom's loving, my dad's loving, I'm loving, and people come in to care for us. And my dad is a doctoral degree in this philosophy as well. He reminds me a lot of you, Stephen.
Thanks.
He says things like, yeah, but where'd you learn this construct? Where'd this, he's always putting it back in a box.
Right.
But he's
I
like,
like them
there's
already when you
nothing
say put
new.
it in a box because that's what I do.
Exactly.
You
Like
get
there's
this box
nothing
right
new
here.
under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Who taught you this? It's like, I'm okay with that. You can give credit to anybody you want to give credit to, but he's my mentor. He's my friend. I am so grateful to how he challenges me and his challenge to me to get it back to fun. So I agree with you. I agree with you, and that's what I aspire in my life, and I'm not done until it's fun.
So this is one of the things that I believe. I believe that life on whole is gray. And then we have these great moments and then we have these terrible moments. The majority of our life is gray, right? It's like, when you're driving to work and it's a stoplight, like we were in a wreck like 2 years ago. And before that, I was like, I don't know how many, 10, 15, whatever. So life is gray. And what we do, unfortunately, is we watch the movies and they take all the gray out of the movies. It's all boo, 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 boo. And we think life should be like that, and it's not. We have to do the hard work. We have to plan, we have to structure, we have to strategize. We have to make friends. We have to delete other people that are in our way when we're trying to move forward and add people that help us push us forward or sometimes pull us because we're resisting. So life is generally gray, but we need to look. I'll give this example. We need to look for the open doors, and I'll give you an example of the open door. This happens to me all the time, not all the time, like every day, but it's happened to numerous times, more than most people ever in their lifetime. I've had it happen at least 5 or 6 times. And an example I'll give you is we were watching one of the eating shows. The guy was I can't I Adam something I can't remember his name. But anyway, I turned to my wife and I was like, after we'd watched it for like a year, I was like, hey, is there a place around here that's kind of like that we can go to? Just a cool eating kind of restaurant instead of Chili's. And she looked around. She found this hamburger, heartache hamburger or something like that, heart attack hamburger or something like that. But anyway, this doctor was he was helping people lose weight, and nobody was taking his advice. Half his clients were like, they quit, and he got pissed off. So he made this hamburger joint where they had pig lard for the grease, and he had a scale, and if you hit 300 pounds on the scale, you got to eat for free. And he had hot nurses there in the nurse outfit and all that kind of stuff. So we go there, and this is before the TMV. Okay, so I'm just in a regular dress up shirt. I don't have a tie or anything on, but I'm dressed like a casual business person dress. And I think it was my son or my daughter, I cannot remember which was with us. I think it was Chris. I think Chris was with us. So it was my wife, myself, and Chris. And the guy comes in. He's got 3 or 4 of these joints. He comes into the joint, and the camera crew comes in. It was BBC, and they were filming. And he came up to our table. Now remember, this was no TMV. Okay, it was just the table, right? And it wasn't the funky glasses. It was the Walmart specials. Okay, so it wasn't
Yes.
wasn't any of that. And he goes, "Hey, do you mind?" And I'm like, "No, not at all. I'm a character. I'll do it." And so he puts his stethoscope on me, and he goes, and I'm sitting there, and he goes, "Yeah, you'll be okay." And without missing a beat, I go, "Are you sure, Doc? Are you sure? Really sure?" And he froze. The cameraman went, "Perfect. Can you do it again?" And I'm like, "Of course I could do it again." So now, okay, we'll put a Coke in your hand. I don't drink Cokes. And then the shake in the other hand, and then the plate is already. So we did it again. So apparently somewhere in BBC, I'm there with the heart attack grill, I think is what it was called. But these things happen to me all the time. My mentors come into my life when I need them, and just all weird stuff like this happens to me all the time. But going back to the when one door closes, so you have these points, right? But that's a point I can come back to and remember. So it makes life more interesting for me to remember that that happened, right? So
All right.
I don't know where I
So
went with that, but
so life is gray.
right, life is great. Yes.
You have to do what you got to do. Do you feel inspired by that? Lit up by that? Excited by that?
No, but I know it's necessary.
So do you feel inspired by that?
I feel inspired by the results of it. I don't feel inspired by the technical aspect of doing the things that I know I have to do to succeed.
So if you had a way where you could have fun and be productive, Would you want it?
You mean like tricking myself, like, okay, I'm going to do this for an hour and then I'm going to give myself a 15-minute break, or I'm going to eat a chocolate chip cookie? Not that I do that.
Or I'm gonna just choose that life is nothing but fun, and I am going to make fun happen wherever I am. So I'll give you an example of a candid example. If my toilet is nasty, it's fun to get it clean.
It's fun for it to be clean.
It's
You're
fun
saying
for
take it
it's
one
fun
step.
for well, and for me, it feels like I used to love doing dishes. I when I was living with those 9 people, I needed to be working, and but I love doing dishes because when you wash dishes, there's accomplishment.
Right.
Done,
Yeah.
clean, accomplished, complete. So that feels fun to my super 7-year-old to get to win with myself. What
Right.
I had for years was I had pages and pages of Excel spreadsheets of tasks and things to do list. I have a book this
Yeah.
big, things to do and ideas to implement someday.
Yeah.
And and I'm sure you have.
Typical entrepreneur, overachiever.
Yes, exactly. So now the way I play is I put no more than 10 things on a page. And if I do one, I'm a rock star.
So I'm totally with that.
One thing, I'm a rock star. Yesterday, I had 8 out of 10 completed. And I'm like walking around, strutting around like a peacock. I felt so proud of myself and so excited. In the past, I would have 10 on the list, add more as the day went on, never complete the list, and never feel like I was good enough.
Here's the flip side on that. Most people do what you just said, but they don't relish in the 8 that they did. They belittle
Exactly
themselves for the 2 that they didn't.
my point. And it's not the 8, it's the one that started rolling you down the hill.
Yeah.
If you wait for the magic moment of I've gotten majority of them done, or I've gotten 8 out of 10, or I finally get to, there's always a finally that we put on ourselves when we're in our super 7-year-old. You don't get to win. Do we need structure? Yes. Do we need plans and excitement well, I have one of my friends is a lawyer, and she said, Beth, you rag on super 7-year-olds. She's like, give super 7-year-olds a break. I'm like, look, I am so sorry. I love my super 7-year-old. She is amazing. 5 books I've published in 6 months. Super 7-year-old rocks. And I did it from fun. If I was in an energy of, I don't want to write, I didn't write, Stephen. I waited until the energy came, and I was questioning myself. It's been 8 months, and I haven't had this low of energy in my life for 8 months. So I challenged myself this last 8 months, and because at the beginning of this month I hired a coach that was going to have me on 1,500 podcasts this year. At the beginning of the year, I had a plan that I was going to get 13 children's books written, and I on and on and on and on. Like my expectations were way up here, and the reality of what I accomplished is way down here. So I can either lower my expectations and get to win, or I keep working at it harder and harder till I get burned out, or I get comfortable with a desire of change in the world and celebration in what I've accomplished. And that's the game I play. So instead of lowering my expectations to nothing, that's the black, white, gray thinking. Instead, I can be in the presence of, I have this huge vision and I am killing it. Both and.
Infinite Bankers and Whole Life Marketers, get the 200 plug and play posts ready for your brand. You'll get an instant access to the Post Vault, a 7-day school trial, our most shared training videos, and the 5 stages of marketing bonus that makes your content convert. Want to brand them? Use our Fiverr guide. We'll send you the link. Click the link below or use the QR code. Remember, get it now while supplies last.
Are you more inspired by my vision or your vision?
My vision.
Tell me more. Tell me what about it inspires you.
It's how I dent the universe. I love to see people succeed. I tire of the I can'ts.
And you're hearing mine is I can't.
Yeah, well, for most people, they don't or they won't. But here's the thing: I used to fight that word. I used to say, don't say can't," and then I realized, no, go ahead, say can't. So go ahead and say something you can't do. Just go ahead, say it. Pretend.
I can't say the word I can't because I don't believe in that.
Yet.
Okay, good.
You
Good,
just
good,
put
good.
yet at the end, right?
I love it. I
I
love it.
can't do that. yet,
Yes.
right? And
I
then the
love
other
it.
thing, the brain works. People do this all the time. They say that what you're supposed to do, and I totally disagree with this. I've changed it just a little bit. I'm a millionaire. No, you're not. You're making $50,000 a year. You're not a millionaire. But if I say it, I'll become it. No, you won't. What you can say is, because the brain is designed to do one thing, it's to solve problems, conserve energy, solve problems. What you can say is, what is it that I'm doing that's making me become a millionaire?
Love it.
Now the brain's like, ooh. And
I
so,
love
or
it. I
be it be
love
a
it. I
father
love it,
or,
Stephen.
yeah,
I'm an insta yes on that question. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, do you want to get into some of the stuff that we talked about yesterday that's a little
absolutely. Waiting for it. There's other things too, but you lead, I'll follow, and we'll have a great. Here's the thing: leaders don't out there. If you're a leader, you're not a leader. You're only a leader because people are deciding to follow you,
exactly.
and they only follow people that serve them. So who's the leader? Anyway, go right ahead.
Well, and what I see that I love about being with you, Stephen, is you are about being of service. And so that's one of the things I absolutely love about being the mirror with and doing this process with you. So what I'd love to do is bring something to the space that helps to bring the two colors, blue and red, to a space where we're not afraid of each other.
So it's interesting that you use the word afraid because that is an. It's not that it's not the truth, but I don't think people think of it as afraid. I think they think of it more as hate.
And what's under hate?
Yeah,
Fear.
absolutely. Yeah, fear. You hate what you fear.
Right.
Absolutely. Because people just don't go that deep, and that's not that
Right.
deep. But yeah,
So I'm taking it to how do we get past the hate? Because if we just talk about if I told you, you're a pink polka dotted elephant, would you care?
no, not at all.
But if I said you suck as a husband, would you care?
Not really, because I know who I am.
If I said you are a terrible father, would you care?
So yesterday I asked that question, and I said yes, I would, because it's true, in my opinion.
And today,
Not near as true. I've worked through it a little bit more. It's not an end all, but I do see a better
okay.
side of me than I had yesterday. It was very enlightening and helpful what we went
And
through
do you
yesterday.
think you'll be a better father thinking you're a bad father? Or do you think you'll be a better father seeing yourself as your greatness and your love and all the wonderful moments and all the gifts you've given your kids and everything you've done for them versus thinking about the one time you lost your cool?
Yeah, quantum physics says what you pay attention to happens, and you become.
Right.
So yeah, obviously, if you remember the good stuff and karma, whatever you want to call it, it will have it will come back to you.
So, whatever we believe, we get to be right about
Correct.
ourselves and each other. Whatever story we tell ourselves, whatever hardship we tell ourselves, we like bring the kitchen sink from the past and we dump it right into the present. And then we live and create ourselves right into the future. So, the game I play is I'm willing to be wrong about everything, Stephen. Everything. I am so willing to be wrong, especially if you can make my life more bliss, more fun, more playful, more loving, more impactful to the world. I'm all ears. If what you tell me is going to bring me down, I'm going to find a way of looking at that mirror and see how do I lift myself back up. The other day, I got off of a weekend workshop that was just on fire, and my balloon was huge. And as I walked into my dad's office, he said, um, "You could have taught that thing. Why are you in another workshop?" I said, "I have four more." He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're going to do four more of those. Why are you paying them when you could?" And my balloon went. "Whew." And I walked out of his office and I went in and I filled myself back up. Okay, where am I believing this? What did he say that I am still questioning about myself? Can I give myself permission to have the gift of this workshop I'm going to and have the energy of these rock stars all around me that are lighting me up? Can I give myself that gift? So then I realized throughout the day I was taking hitting kind of negative things at my dad, and I realized I was still making him bad and wrong for what he did to me instead of what I did to me was allow him to bust my bubble. I did that. Then I have the power to get my bubble back. So then I took it to the next level. It's like, okay, how do I get us back to a place. I didn't enroll him on what was happening in this meeting. I didn't enroll him on what was lighting me up about it. And he thought I was just taking time away from him. So that's what I would say about that. What's your take?
There are stages to getting to where you are. I'm not there, and I'm sure there's some people that are in the audience, and I'm sure that most of us are working through it. And there are just things that we're not ready. We're not ready to let go of that hate or that fear, not hate, fear,
Or both.
or both. So,
And you just declared that as a truth.
correct. It is the truth. I mean,
Yet.
it doesn't
Yet.
matter. It doesn't
Yet.
matter if all my kids are gay, one of my kids is gay, if they're all multi-billionaires, trillionaires, and I'm not, or they're all making $10 a year. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I still love them, but I do. Oh, there it is. I do judge them on
Which
things
is
that they do.
really which is really judging you, Stephen.
Yeah, because
So you failed
I'm
as a
not the person
dad.
that you see back in the past. I was, and I fear that they'll go down that road that I went down and not be fortunate enough to have the mentors that saved me from eating 3 square meals a day and having an orange suit and doing laundry and having a bunkmate, right? So, I mean, I fear that. And because I fear that, I am negative. I'm negative. Oh, this is good. Okay. I'm negative to that, not really them.
And what do they hear?
But they hear that I'm negative to them. Right.
Yes.
Oh, I just
And
got that. I told you
yeah.
yesterday that I was going to have to sleep on it because that's when the brain dumps everything in and your brain starts rewiring, and I'll get a little bit better tomorrow. So now I figured it out. I didn't really figure it out yesterday. I thought I did, but and I'll probably tomorrow I'll figure it out even better. But
Well, and we are getting to keep awakening to more love that we see in ourselves and each other. And the more you love yourself, Stephen, the more your kids will feel loved by you. And the more you judge yourself, the more your kids will feel judged by you and thus judge themselves. And then they cannot become the vision that you have for them because they feel like crap. They think they suck. They feel like they failed. It's hard to get up when you feel like a failure. So if you can find anything that you feel great about yourself and expand on that, and anything that you see great about that and expand on that, and let all the negative go away and just focus action, just keep focusing on what you love and want, it will expand. Self-fulfilling prophecy 101.
and I think it was Henry Ford that said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Exactly.
And that's what you had alluded to earlier.
Dad, I told you this story yesterday, but worth repeating. There was a dad that I worked with, and his 17-year-old daughter that I got to meet, freaking rock star, like not going to school, making 30,000 a year, like just amazing, but not your typical go through the, not your typical super 7-year-old. She was in her inner teens. She was just taking on life. She spoke her truth. Oh my gosh, I aspired to be as powerful as this 17-year-old kid. And this dad had some of the worst things to say about his daughter. It hurt my heart to hear what he said and thought out loud about his kid. If the kid even knew half the things and believed it, gone. However, I kept saying to this dad, do you want to be right? Or do you want me to be right? And he screamed at me, of course I want you to be right. I'm like, okay, Dad, drop the rope. Drop the rope. Look and see what I see. You see what you see. You get to be right. And you have the power to pull her back into that world. You see what I see. You have the fire beneath her wings.
Yeah.
That's one passionate thing I have for parents. It's like whatever story you have about your kid, I don't care if they've done drugs for 20 years. If you keep calling them a drug addict, then you're living them into the next 20 years of drug addict.
My dad, I've been an entrepreneur almost all my life. There's been a couple of times when I wasn't, but most of my life, my working life. And he would always ask me, when am I going to get a real job?
Oh, yeah. Does that make you crazy?
I'm feeding my family. We've got a nice house. We've got a ranch. We got a horse ranch. So
talk about not being seen,
his
right?
paradigm could not shift on that.
Yes.
But see,
There,
I fear. But here's the thing.
Stephen,
I learned that trait, and I passed that along. The sins of the father, right? And so but
Mirror,
now that I
mirror.
see it more clearly, it's funny because I knew it, but it's common sense, but not common sense until you actually understand it, learn it, and understand it. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah.
uncommon. I call it uncommon common sense. And
Oh,
what?
go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
No,
you
there
go
was
ahead.
the three things. There was the three rules that you had yesterday, and I got to have you do it again because my ADHD. That's my excuse for it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
forgot,
I
and
actually have 10.
I'm gonna have my YouTube guy put a little thing on the bottom of the screen, most likely, or someplace, and it has those things. Maybe even a I don't know. We'll find a way to people want to maybe click a link or something. I don't know. We'll see. He's
Okay.
the master at
Well,
this. I don't get in his way. I let him do
well,
whatever.
I have 10. I have 10 Dr. Beth rules, but I'm going to give you 3
Right.
because 10's too many to remember. So here's the key. Number 1, nobody gets to be wrong, not even me. Now, in anybody's super 7-year-old head, your brain is just going to explode. Like there's right and there is wrong, Beth. And that's just a stupid rule. And I'm like, okay, fine. You do you, boo. Keep doing you, boo. And if you're having life, keep doing you, boo. My way of nobody gets to be wrong means that when I make a mistake, no mistake, when I go down a path that I don't want, I have a way out of hell. So that's what that rule does for me. It's not like it's the truth, it's just what I go by. Rule number 2, and I have to use this one a lot. Rule number 2 is nobody gets to be wrong, not even me, even when I'm making myself bad and wrong. I had to come up with rule number 2 because I was constantly making myself bad and wrong. So I'm breaking my rule. I'm breaking my number 1 rule. Now I'm really bad and wrong. So I had to come up with rule number 2. And that helps me get out of jail too. And then rule number 3, and this is what's really critical to help your super 7-year-old understand the first 2 rules. And that is if I knew better, hi, kitty, kitty, kitty. If I knew better, I would do better. And now again, the super 7-year-old is going to say, well, I know better. I have a doctoral degree. I'm drbeth.com. Of course I know better. No, in that moment, I was little b. I was my inner 3-year-old self, or I was my super 7-year-old self, but I was definitely not my dialed and styled Dr. Beth self. So when I'm using rule number 3, if I knew better, I would have done better, but I was hungry. I was taken out. Hungry Bear was in the building, or whatever the case may. I hadn't slept for 3 days, or whatever the case may be, or I just gone through a terror, or I'm in grief, or. But the point is, if I could do better, I would have done better.
Yeah.
And when you know that about your kids, and you know that about the other team, then you can have an impact in helping them get to a safer place in life. Because if I am using my words, they can feel like guns. If I'm on your porch telling you you are not okay like you are and you're bad and wrong, you are going to get punched off the porch. It's called defensiveness 101. If somebody punches you, whether it be with words or with threats or with judgments or with criticisms, you're going to get rebel. If you tell, I must rebel. If you ask, like your brilliant question, I love your question. You had other before about the million. If you ask, you might become a worm in my head. Your question may barrel into my head and actually transform my life. But if you tell me, whoo, lock down. So those are the 3 rules.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a way to put that out there. Maybe I'll make a post. Who knows?
Sure.
My cat loves you, by the way.
Hi, kitty, 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 kitty.
She's something else. A lot of love though, right? So that's why
Yeah.
they come over here. She knows that I'm on here, and he knows I can't get onto her, so she knocks stuff over. And
I love
I don't know
it.
what stage that is, but but then she comes over and says, "Daddy, do you love me?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yes, I love you." Oh,
It's
this
it's
is
kind of
good.
like
Yes, I still love you, even
love
though
me
you're
now, love me
causing
now.
problems. Oh, this is good. I did never. Just another little piece of how to get better.
Exactly.
So
Well, I have a question for you. How much are we at the end?
well, we can be. We got we're probably about an hour and 30 minutes, maybe an hour and 20 minutes into it, maybe an hour and 15, something like that.
Okay.
We can go another 15 minutes easy.
Well, if you want to include this, or we can do have a whole nother conversation. I think that the blue and the red team and how we can talk
Yeah,
and
let's go through that.
how you and I have done such a loving job of holding each other right where we are, not intending to change, not intending to fix you, you not intending to fix me. And we are just coexisting, hearing each other and caring what the other person says and thinks and feels and needs to feel safe.
Bank on yourself, agents. Download 200 unbranded posts and turn them into your own voice. Also includes a 7-day school pass. The posting is a waste of time unless lessons you need to learn, and the 5 stages of marketing cheat sheet that show you just how to move cold leads to book calls. Branding? We've got a Fiverr referral guide that if you want to brand everything. Click the link below, use the QR code, and remember, no shipping or handling charges. Get them today, now, free.
So my question for you is there anything about me or my team that threatens you personally or your children or your life or the planet that you'd like to say to me?
There's nothing that threatens me.
Or that you're afraid of, or you want to understand.
You were saying that you used to be, maybe still are, gay. We talked about this. There's levels of gayness, right? We're all gay. Some of us are like 0.01 and some of us are like 10, right?
According to one research study, there's a continuum and they're like 5% on the edges and and everybody shows up where they are. Yeah.
So my uncle was gay. I loved him. Died of AIDS. Best hairdresser I ever had was gay. Extremely smart. He always knew exactly my haircut. I'm like, dude, how do you know? And back, this is like 40 years ago. He's like, well, I have index cards and I just have everything on the index. I was like, well, that's brilliant. And I use that actually. It's one of the things I use for my clients now is the index cards. But
I love it.
And I was really upset when he fired me as a client. But he fired me because he decided he was going to go work at a high-end restaurant and make a lot more money. So it wasn't like he fired me personally, but I always like to set it up that way. But I do have reservations. So it's interesting. For you, it doesn't affect me at all. But if it was one of my kids, I would be more concerned. And I think the reason
because you would be concerned because
in my belief, I know it's not true, but because they've socialized around and during a critical time of their life, I wasn't around, so they didn't have a strong dad to come back on and ask questions to because they feared me. They didn't think that I would understand, which I would have. They don't know my history. I mean, I've been in the wrong many, many times and done many things that were just stupid.
So does that whole story you just told, does that inspire you? Do you want that to be a truth?
What do I want what to be a truth?
That story you just told. You weren't there for your kids, that you weren't around, that you didn't, all the stories that you have around you not being a good dad. Do you want that to be truth?
No, I do not. I had to think about that for a second. So I shouldn't speak it into life then, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do this with the water bottle about how to change your life. I just never put that together.
And that's why I love to hang out with people like you, because you can see my blind spots and I can see your blind spots, and then we can love each other in our blind spots.
Yeah, I have no revelations. No, I have no
reservations
problem at all. Even if you're still gay or not gay, it doesn't matter to me because I love you for who you are. And it's interesting how that affects me, doesn't affect me, but with the kids, I have a more difficult time, although I'm seeing a little bit. But well, here's my thought process on this. I know for a fact that my daughter, I shouldn't have said that, but oh well, I did already. One of my daughters, I have two, so had a very abusive relationship back in 5th grade, and we had to call the principal. It was not physical, but there was a lot of hate in there, and it affected her. And she did date a little bit more guys for a while, but it was quick and fast and in and out, right? It's like, no, I don't want this guy. I don't want this guy. I don't want this guy. And then she met a kind of the same story as yours. She met a girl that she liked and didn't know she was gay. And then like after she got to know her and they were good friends, she said, hey, I'm gay. And that's when she said, oh, well, I must be gay too. So that's not the same, right? That you're all your life until about like 8th grade, maybe 9th, you were straight as an arrow. And then you decide to change. And here's the thing. When she's upstairs playing her games, she's never talking to a female. It's always males. And so My fear is that because women are the most depressed, they have the most depression out of anybody. And I really truly believe it's because they're not fulfilling their biological needs. And it's not that women, here, a prime example, women can be successful, just as successful, even more successful. Oh, look at Oprah. How many people make more money than Oprah? I don't. Okay. So, uh, it's my fear is that she will not ultimately be happy. I know she's not. She goes to therapy every week, and I have problems with that because I fear that the therapist isn't doing it justice because there's, oh, well, that's not true. There has been change, but we talked about this earlier. I'm a ready, go, set, and sometimes I don't even do set, and sometimes I don't even say ready. I want things fast now. Let's do it. Okay. No, I know what the problem is. Let me solve it for you, which is really a terrible thing to think because you can't. And then a friend of mine who is also high level in therapy, I was complaining that I wasn't able to help her. And she said it very simply. She said, Stephen, you can't help anybody that's not willing to change. And I think that's why we get along so well is because I'm very opinionated, but I'm also open to reason. And I'll think, even if I disagree with that, I'll think about it. And a lot of times I'll play, we've done this, I've done this in this one, I'll play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I'll say something and I'm like, but wait, now, wait a minute. If I go down this road, right? So I can see both sides of the fence. So going back to the
And
Democrat.
if I get triggered, Stephen, it's my stuff.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
mine.
that's, that's, that's a, that's a,
I own all of it. One question for you about your kids. Who do you think your child seeks approval from? Peers, the world, bosses, or you and her mom?
She doesn't need approval from her mom because she's always got that. It's me. And that's why we're doing so well right now, is because I have used some of your techniques unbeknownst to me at the time. Now you've just reinforced that I'm doing the right thing. Uh, and we are on we are made a 180-degree turn around.
I love that. I love that. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you and your daughter. You know, my mom and dad love me beyond words. Everything they said was because they were terrified that I was going to have a horrible life. You're never going to have friends. You're never going to make money. You're never going to be able to, you're going to be hurt by the society, blah, 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 blah. You know, the only thing that hurt me in my whole time, my 60 plus years, the only thing that hurt me out of all the experiences I've ever had with anybody, the only thing that hurt me,
Because your dad.
my mom and dad
Yeah.
approving of me and thinking I was broken and bad and wrong and not going to succeed. I can't even tell you how hard I had to work internally to fight against that internal message that I'm screwed, blued, and tattooed. But I want to give you a get out of jail free card. You want it?
Absolutely.
Okay, here's your get out of jail free card. There's a mom who is married to a woman who's a lesbian. They're married, and she had a child with a man who turned trans, who was a woman, okay? And they had a son who was 17, and he was afraid to tell them, all three of them, he thought he was gay. Your head's gonna go, huh?
Yeah, I was
But
thinking
I
you
got
were
step
straight.
two. I
Afraid to
got
say that
step
I was
two.
straight.
I got step two. No, no, no gay person wants to put this life on another human being. Nobody. To have the judgment and the rage
Oh,
and the stuff you have to overcome. So here's the second part of the get out of jail free card. Ready? This is the really, really powerful part. The mom said to me she got why he was afraid because she didn't want him to be gay. She didn't want him to go through the pain that she and her wife and her ex trans mom had gone through. She didn't want him to have that life. And I'm going to say, and I had the same dumbfounded look when I heard this from her. I was like, this just doesn't even compute.
yeah. I mean,
This is just like
birds of a
mind.
feather.
And
Well,
and
what
so
what
it
better
is
person to learn
natural.
from than somebody that's done it, right?
Yes, but naturally, you as a dad, you love your kids and you want to keep them safe. And
Oh,
naturally, she as a mom, she loves her kid and she wants to keep him safe. Here's the thing, for all of us that have chosen this lifestyle and for all of us that have kids that have chosen this lifestyle, debatable, chosen. Some people feel like it's a choice and some people feel like it's not a choice. So everybody has their own way of looking at this. And what a child wants more than anything in this world is their parents' love and approval. And if you love and approve them and want them to love and approve themselves, they'll find out whether they're gay or straight. But if you push them in one direction, then like there's this one kid was wearing goth makeup and had been working, the mom had been working with me, and she and her friend were at a bowling alley, and the kid came in and she was all gothed out, and the mom said, "Oh my God, your eyelashes just pop. That looks beautiful." And the kid said, "I'm never wearing this again."
That wasn't the reaction that that child wanted.
Right. So the more you push against me, I have to go through spin wheels to figure out what is my truth, because I'm still got you in my head telling me I'm bad and wrong. So I can't even get to my own soul and my own self and my own desires. So if you will ask questions and let the child, so what would it be like to be gay? What kind of life do you imagine that would be for you? What do you think it would be? What if you choose that and you change your mind? What if you do this and just letting them talk and think? The example I have with kids that come into me in the past in my private practice office, they say, "I'm quitting school." I'd say, "Okay, cool. What's your plan?" They're like, "I quit." I said, "I got it. You're quitting. You're 16. So I'm assuming you're going to get what? You're going to get a job. How are you going to live? Because your parents will be arrested if, they don't get you in school. So you'll have to go down a different path. What path are you going to go down? Well, what are you going to drive? Well, how are you going to get there? What's your plan? Just question. Like, I'm accepting them exactly where they are. End of the session, almost every time, "I'm going back to school." I'm like, "Really? Why? Why would you do that?" And they say, "Just forget it. I'm going back to school." I'm like, "Okay, all right, well, come talk to me if you want to think it through."
Because we don't reason with ourselves, we get emotional with ourselves, is what you just said. You let that thought become an emotion, and then and this is one of the reasons why the red and the blue get in trouble. Is you let that emotion take over, but you don't use the reason behind the emotion. And if you do, then even if you're in your mind you're right and you are right, it doesn't matter. You're not right if you can't reason. If you're emotionally right and you're right, it's not right. You have to be able to reason that emotion to show,
If
to
you're
help
right and
others.
if you're right and you're triggered, then there's some part of you that doesn't feel very confident.
Right.
So if you said to me, anything you wanted to say to me, if I got triggered, that's my stuff. My brother was so against me being gay for 50 years. And every time he would be homophobic and wouldn't let me see my nephew, and all the different things that he would do to protect his child from me turning him gay, which I would never do. I kept looking at, okay, where am I still internalized homophobia? And I just kept looking for it. It's not about him. Where am I still triggered? Where am I still not loving me? And it was probably 5 years ago with a partner I had, a date I had. He was like, "I'd love to meet your date." And we took his new child out and everything was good. Nothing changed in anything I tried to tell him to change his mind. Nothing. I just kept loving me and finding, where am I not loving me?
All right. I think that's where we're getting close to the end. I do have a couple of questions that are the regular questions now. I had like 20, 35 something questions that I was going to ask you, but and I told you earlier, I said, we probably won't get through very many of them, and then we're going to go off, and I'm totally cool with that. I love it. One sentence you would text yourself, your future, one sentence you'd text your future self right now,
What
not
I'd
the
rather
past,
do,
the future.
what I'd rather do is have my future self text me.
Okay. All right. Because that's who you're becoming. I understand that. I get that psychology. All right.
So when I did a vision of myself with my future self, when I was in one of my funks, my future self came in like this. Like I had this, just so fun. And so I would ask my future self to tell me how she got to that confidence, that joy, that bliss,
Right.
that peace of mind.
Asking the brain to solve the problem that we talked about earlier. Absolutely. I'm going to have to change that question. Just another one. That's okay. I can handle it because it's a better
And
question.
I'm open to you and I anytime you want
Oh yeah.
And if you wanted to bring somebody else on that, has a kid that they've stopped talking to, and I'll actually send you a video of a child that has lost connection with her parents for 15 years and is just so sad, so devastated by it. And I've talked with the parents that have lost connection with their kids from 20 years, and they have a hole in their heart. So one of the things that I do is I help bring families together and parents together. No matter how you see life differently, there's always a way to come back through it with love.
I don't see how somebody couldn't watch this program, not even in its entirety, but in its entirety. I definitely don't see how somebody couldn't be affected and think, you know what, I'm right about this. I need to work on that. Um,
Well, you get to
so
be right. You get to be right about anything you want to get to be
that's
right
true.
about.
It's right.
And if
That's
it
right. Can
keeps
never
you
be wrong.
from if it keeps you from what you want in life, just consider the possibility I'm willing to be wrong. It just that one thing, even though you think you're not, just the willingness can crack the door enough that you guys can find a way back to love.
Right on. All right. So, second to last question, because you know a lot of people, and you now see the format and how we do this program. Who do you think should be on this podcast, the Busy Beaver Club podcast?
I'd love for you to talk to my dad.
Okay, we can. Do you know anybody that knows him that can say, hey?
I I know him a little bit, just
Okay, well
barely.
then do that. Then
I'll connect you too, because I have a vision that I want to do this podcast with my dad, and maybe if he had an experience of this with you, he sees how normal it is, that he would then be willing to do this with me. So that'd
and
be the
this is
greatest
what I
gift.
do for a living. So if you want help with that, I sent you that how to get clients fast or slow, depending on you. And if you wanted to, just
You're not going to get rid of me, Stephen.
no, no. The problem is you're not going to get rid of me. So,
I'm in. I'm an insta yes. Yeah, we got to pull the world back together.
so pulling the world back together is my last question. It's kind of a interesting one. I've done it for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now. The last question is, how do you celebrate a win?
How do I celebrate what?
A win.
Um, so many ways.
Need one.
In the mirror, I do a lot of mirror work, and I say, "You are amazing. I'm so proud of you. I
So
love
positive.
you so much."
That hits all levels because now you're doing it in reality. You're doing it in your mind. You're doing it in a mirror, which is that's pretty. And when you're practicing your speeches and stuff like that, you're supposed to do it in a mirror so you see your facial and yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Here's one more I say. Damn, you're hot.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I receive, I receive. Mirror,
It's the
mirror.
truth. And remember, I tell people this all the time. I don't say things to be to be nice. I say them because they're the truth. And if it's not the truth, I won't say it.
Yeah.
And that's
I
it's just
receive.
like,
I receive. I receive. Thank
yeah,
you very much.
yes, ma'am. All right. So I'm going to end it. Here we go. Good luck, of course, laboring under correct knowledge. I'm Stephen Beaver, your visionary strategist. TMV, baby, take more vacations. That's how we spell your success. Y'all have a happy and successful day. Bye for now. Whole life agents who do infinite banking get 200 unbranded posts that you can customize and use as your own. You just got to copy and paste. Also, you'll get 7 days access to our school community for free. And posting is a waste of time unless video. And of course, the 5 stages of marketing cheat sheet. Want them branded? We'll point you to our Fiverr guy, or you can do it yourself if you prefer. Click the link or use the QR code. Get them now. If you're looking for a nonprofit organization to give to or be part of, Turning Point USA is the one. Its mission is to identify, educate, train, and organize students to promote the principles of freedom, free market, and limited government. Turning Point USA believes that every young person can be enlightened to true free market values. Go to Turning Point USA, join, and start today.